Hey friends, welcome back to Senior Money USA. I've got something you need to hear, especially if you rely on Social Security or are keeping an eye on stimulus updates. Believe it or not, there are only 3 weeks left before a major change kicks in on April 1st, and it could affect the way you receive your benefits. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you, but this isn't something to wait on. Knowing about this could make a real difference in your wallet. I'm going to break it all down for you in plain, easy to understand terms, and I'll even share some insider tips that most people don't know about. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's coming and what steps you can take to make the most of it. So stick around, hit that like button, and let's make sure your income stays safe and secure. All right, now that you know there's just 3 weeks left before this big April 1st Social Security change, let's take a deep dive together. I want you to feel completely in the loop, like I'm sitting right there with you, sharing all the things you need to know so that you can make the most of what's coming. First, I need you to understand this isn't just a tiny adjustment or a minor update. This is something that can have a real impact on your monthly income. And honestly, a lot of seniors aren't even aware it's happening. That's exactly why we're here today, to make sure you're ahead of the curve and not scrambling at the last minute. Now, I know changes in Social Security can feel overwhelming, especially when there's a lot of confusing information floating around. Maybe you've already tried reading about it online, and it felt like the more you read, the less you understood. Don't worry, that's normal. The way the government communicates these updates is often very dry and complicated. But here, we're going to cut through all the jargon and break it down so it makes real sense. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening, why it matters to you, and what you can do right now to make sure you're in the best possible position. And trust me, there are a few tips coming up that most people don't even think about. So keep watching. All right, let's start with the big change itself. As of April 1st, Social Security is implementing a new rule that affects how certain benefits are calculated. Without getting too deep into the technical language, this basically means that depending on your situation, whether you're collecting retirement benefits, disability, or even survivor benefits, you could see a change in the amount you receive. For some, it might be a slight increase, and for others, it could be a reduction if certain criteria apply. That's why it's so important to know exactly where you stand. The last thing you want is to be surprised when your check comes in. We're going to walk through all of this together so there are no surprises. Now, I want to pause for a second because I know what you're thinking. This sounds stressful. Do I really need to deal with this right now? And the answer is yes. But here's the good news. You don't have to do it alone. That's exactly why we created this channel, to give seniors like you clear, practical advice that actually works. There's no complicated paperwork or confusing calculations here. We're going to break it down step by step. By just spending a few minutes with this video, you're already ahead of thousands of other people who will wait until it's too late. And hey, while we're at it, if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and click that like button. Every like helps us bring more helpful content right to you and other seniors just like you. So, let's dig a little deeper into what's changing. One of the biggest things to understand is that the Social Security Administration is adjusting how cost of living increases are calculated. You've probably heard this referred to as the COLA adjustment. In the past, it's been fairly predictable, but this year, there are a few tweaks that could make your benefit look a little different than what you expected. The COLA affects everyone differently depending on your age, when you started collecting benefits, and other income sources you may have. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. Even a small percentage change can add up over the course of a year. It might be tempting to ignore it, but that's exactly why we need to be proactive. At the same time, there's some important stimulus information you need to be aware of. Yes, stimulus checks may have slowed down for some of us, but there are still updates coming that could impact your finances. Some seniors will qualify for new relief measures or adjustments to past payments. And if you miss the window to act, it could take months to sort it out. And let's be honest, no one wants to wait months to get money they deserve. That's why right now is the perfect time to pay attention, check your eligibility, and make sure you don't miss out. And don't worry, I'm going to walk you through the process so it's simple, easy, and completely doable. Now, you might be asking, how do I know if these changes affect me personally? That's a great question. The answer is it depends on a few factors, like how long you've been receiving benefits, whether you have multiple sources of Social Security income, and your age at the time you claim. Some of you might notice a difference immediately, while others might see the impact later in the year. But here's the key takeaway. You can't know for sure unless you check now. And that's exactly what we're going to do together. In this video, I'll give you the tools, the resources, and the exact steps you need to make sure you're not leaving money on the table. And here's the thing, this isn't just about numbers. I know that Social Security and stimulus changes can feel stressful because they touch something deeply personal, your peace of mind. You've worked hard your whole life, and now you deserve to enjoy your retirement without unnecessary worry. That's why staying informed is so important. Even a small change can feel significant when it comes to planning your monthly budget, paying for groceries, or even treating yourself to a little extra comfort. That's why we're not just talking numbers here. We're talking about your life, your independence, and your security. Now, let's talk about practical steps you can take right now. First, you want to review your Social Security statement. If you haven't looked at it in a while, now is the perfect time. Make sure your earnings are recorded correctly. Check your estimated benefit amounts and pay attention to any notices about upcoming changes. If something looks off or confusing, don't panic. That's normal. But flag it because catching any errors early can save you headaches later. Remember, knowledge is power. And taking action today means you're in control of your financial future. And hey, if you're finding these tips useful, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us keep creating content that keeps you secure and informed. Next, you'll want to consider how the April 1st changes might affect your budget. Some people will see a small increase, and that's wonderful. It could mean a little extra flexibility in your spending. Others might see a decrease or a delay, and that can feel frustrating. But here's the silver lining. Knowing ahead of time lets you plan. Maybe it's adjusting when you pay bills, shifting some discretionary spending, or talking to a financial advisor to explore options. The key is to act now instead of waiting for a surprise. I can't stress this enough. Planning ahead is what keeps your retirement secure. And I also want to touch on something a lot of people don't realize. There are resources available specifically for seniors to help navigate these changes. The Social Security Administration itself has guides, calculators, and support lines. But honestly, sometimes talking to someone who understands seniors' concerns makes all the difference. That's why channels like Senior Money USA exist to help you cut through the noise, understand your options, and take action with confidence. Before we go further, let me share a little insider tip. Many seniors don't know that there are specific adjustments for people who receive multiple benefits like combining retirement and survivor benefits. These adjustments can affect the timing and amount of your checks. It might seem complicated at first, but once you understand the basic rules, it becomes much easier to see how it impacts you personally. And that's exactly why you're watching this video, so you don't get caught off guard. Now, I know this is a lot of information, and you might be thinking, wow, that's overwhelming. But take a deep breath. The good news is we're walking through this step by step by staying informed, reviewing your statements, checking your eligibility for stimulus updates, and planning ahead. You're already taking control of your financial future. And the really exciting part, most people don't do this. By simply being proactive, you're ahead of the game. And here's the best part. These changes don't have to be scary. In fact, they're an opportunity. An opportunity to make sure your benefits are accurate, to claim what's rightfully yours, and to plan for a more secure and comfortable retirement. Think of it like a little tune-up for your finances, a way to ensure everything is running smoothly. And I promise by the end of this video, you'll feel confident, empowered, and ready to take the next steps. So, let's recap where we are. April 1st is just around the corner. Social Security is making important changes, and there are stimulus updates that could affect you. By reviewing your statements, checking your eligibility, and planning ahead, you're setting yourself up for success. And remember, you're not alone. Thousands of seniors are in the same boat. And by staying informed and proactive, you're taking control of your financial future. Before we wrap up, I want to encourage you one more time. Take action today. Don't wait until the last minute. Review your statements, make notes, and if you have questions, reach out for help. It's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button. It's a small action, but it helps us keep creating content that's designed to keep seniors like you safe, informed, and confident in your income. All right, friends. I know we've covered a lot, but this is the kind of information that can make a real difference. Social Security and stimulus updates can be confusing, but by staying informed, reviewing your benefits, and taking action now, you're making sure your retirement stays secure and stress-free. So, take a deep breath, feel proud of yourself for being proactive, and know that you've got the knowledge to handle whatever comes your way. Stick with me because in the next few minutes, I'll also share a few extra tips that can help you maximize your benefits before April 1st. These are practical, easy steps that most people overlook, but not you. You're ahead of the game, and that's something to feel really good about. All right, friends. We've covered a lot today, and I want to take a moment to make sure everything really sinks in. Social Security is changing on April 1st. The stimulus updates are rolling out, and knowing this ahead of time puts you in control. I know it might feel like a lot to process, but here's the thing. You don't have to do it all at once. Just take it step by step. Review your statements, check your eligibility, and take action where it makes sense for you. Remember, knowledge is power, and being proactive now can save you a lot of stress later. I also want you to remember that this isn't just about numbers or dates. It's about your peace of mind. You've worked hard for every penny, and your retirement should feel secure, comfortable, and stress-free. That's exactly why channels like Senior Money USA exist. We're here to cut through all the confusing information, give you practical tips, and help you feel confident in your decisions. I want you to feel like you've got a friend sitting right next to you, guiding you through the changes, making sure nothing catches you off guard. And here's a little secret. Most seniors don't take action until it's too late. By simply watching this video, by reviewing your benefits, and by staying informed, you're already ahead of the curve. That sense of control, that's priceless. You're taking charge of your financial future, and that's something to be proud of. Before we finish, I want to encourage you to stay connected. Hit that like button if you found this video helpful. It's a simple way to support this channel and help us continue creating content that matters to seniors like you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. That way, you'll never miss updates that could impact your Social Security, stimulus payments, or other benefits. We're here to make sure you're always informed, secure, and ready for whatever comes next. Also, don't be shy about leaving a comment. I love hearing from you, whether it's a question, a concern, or even a tip you've learned along the way. This is a community where seniors can share, learn, and feel supported. Your questions might even help someone else in the same situation. So go ahead, drop a comment. Let's start a conversation, and let's help each other stay informed and confident. Finally, I want you to remember this. The power to secure your income and make smart financial decisions is in your hands. You don't have to feel anxious or confused about these changes. By staying proactive, paying attention to updates, and taking small steps today, you're ensuring that your Social Security and stimulus benefits are working for you, not the other way around. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I'm so glad you joined me, and I promise we'll keep bringing you the tips, updates, and guidance you need to feel confident and secure. So, take a deep breath, feel proud of yourself for being proactive, and remember, we've got your back every step of the way. All right, friends. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I can't wait to hear from you. Stay safe, stay informed, and here's to keeping your retirement income secure and worry-free. See you in the next.